All right, good morning, everyone. The time now is 10:47. I know we have a good chunk of you to get here. If you missed it, we now have Tropical Depression 3, which is out there. We're going to kind of go over that. We'll first, though, bring you to a live look from our Myrtle Beach Tower Cam. That's where we're going to start. And I really just want to show you what we're looking at right now. Of course, we will have the track on Tropical Depression 3 here in just a couple of minutes. That update should be here any minute. Right now, though, I do want to get you ready for what will be an active week. Once we get that forecast track out for Tropical Depression 3, we will go straight to that. Let's go ahead and show you what it looks like. First off, you'll notice a very lovely day with the mix of sun and clouds. A little bit of haze out there, but how about the beach? It is packed today. You'll notice a ton of people out from our Myrtle Beach Skycam, and I don't blame them one bit. This is over at Tin Roof, where you're holding on to just a lovely start to the day. Like we said, not full-blown sunshine, but overall a pattern that I think many of us can get used to with still some clouds around. It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds as we head into the forecast today. So we'll talk about that first. I want to go ahead and take a look at some of those temperatures. How about 82 right now in Myrtle Beach, 84 in Conway, North Myrtle. You're at 81 degrees, and in Bennettsville, it's 82 degrees here across the region. Everyone sitting in those low 80s. That sea breeze will start to become a little bit more common over the next hour or so with the wind directly coming off of the beach here and the ocean this morning. Let's go ahead and show you, because a lot of people have been asking us about that wildfire up there. And as we take a look at basically the air quality alerts, those air quality alerts in effect for areas in Brunswick County. We were talking about the wildfire on Friday. That is still being fought by some of those fire crews up there to our north. But because of the winds out of the southeast today, we're actually going to be looking at that smoke delivered a little bit more up to the northwest, if you will. You'll notice that basically across portions just south of Robinson County. So the air quality alert certainly going to be into play here, and something we'll keep an eye on. Let's go ahead and show you how we end up for today, because I do think we'll get some scattered showers and storms. That really kind of kicks off the basic scattered shower and storm activity today, and then what will become a pretty active weather pattern. So if you're standing out there, you have plans today, just keep in mind we'll look at some of those afternoon showers and storms to develop. Right now, rain chances at 40% for inland areas. It's a 30% chance of rain for the beaches, and then things really start to turn active as we head into the overnight hours and into the forecast for your Tuesday. If you missed it, rain chances, they're going to be pretty common here. We'll go to a 60% chance of rain on your Tuesday, 70% chance of rain as we go into Wednesday, and then, of course, the unsettled weather pattern is going to be our big story for Thursday and Friday as well. We're holding on to, once again, the rain chances pretty likely as we go into the forecast there, at least through the end of the work week and into the weekend. 60% chance of rain on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Sunday, it's a 40% chance of rain as the active unsettled weather pattern really gets going from this pesky low pressure system that's going to be sitting off to our west. So tropical moisture works in. It's our first true bout of tropical moisture here. This will bring unsettled weather to the area as we head into the Carolinas, and you'll notice that southerly flow increasing the tropical moisture across the region. That low pressure bringing that spin and also the rain chances basically right off the Atlantic and continuing for us as we head into the forecast. So your 10-day looks like this, and I just want to show you at least what this looks like for tomorrow coming up. But first, let's get to your 7 and 10-day, and then we'll go to the tropics. Still waiting on that brand new advisory on Tropical Depression 3. Notice your 7-day forecast, 10-day forecast, showing some improvement once we get into the weekend, but it will take some time. 80s for your Tuesday, 80s for Wednesday as well, and we're holding on to a little bit more sunshine and dry time, if you will, as we head into the forecast for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. As far as rainfall totals, still a little overdone for the European, but I do want to show this just because it shows the potential of some of that heavier rain. Now, that heavier rain is going to be coming down, I think, to areas to the northwest. The GFS seems to be a little bit more reasonable over the next 7 days. That rain's going to be across the forecast. We're talking 2 to 3 inches of rain, and I think that 2 to 3 inch of rain going to be setting up for the good area. And then I think as you go further inland, you'll notice some isolated spots of 4 inches of rain or so. So 4+ inches of rain could be something we have to keep an eye on. I see here in the Facebook chat, Bree says, hey, is there rain today? There is. Rain chances at 30%, mainly for the afternoon and evening. If you miss that, I'll walk you through, and then we'll take a look at the tropics. Notice by this afternoon, a couple of those scattered showers and storms will develop. We'll take a live look at radar here in just a couple of seconds. But this will continue through the evening. We'll get a brief break, and then we'll hold on to some overnight showers and storms as well. Those overnight showers and storms will push through with multiple rounds tomorrow. And what you see for your Tuesday is what I think you will get as we go into the forecast here for a good chunk of the area, if you will. So let's go ahead and show you the radar. You'll notice right now across our area, all is calm except a couple of isolated showers in Conway and in portions there in Green Sea. You look off to the west, though, and you'll notice a line of showers and storms, even a severe thunderstorm warning for those areas along the I-95 corridor. That is working its way to the east, and will push its way into Charleston here within the next couple of hours. So we're keeping an eye on these lines of storms. We put this into motion, and you'll notice that will be working its way into our area as we head a little bit later throughout your forecast. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Tropical Depression 3 here. And Tropical Depression 3 has formed. For those wondering, it is the leading edge of this activity. So there is Tropical Depression 3. We still do not have the forecast track at this point, but this will more than likely become Tropical Storm Brett as we go into the forecast in the next day, if not by this afternoon. This continues to improve as we go into the next couple of hours. It would not shock me if we are looking at Tropical Storm Brett by this afternoon. You'll notice it's not only Brett, but I think Cindy could be also issued later this week. The reason I say that is because right behind now Tropical Depression 3, you now have a 40% chance of development over the next 7 days. So we'll look at a 40% chance of development over the next 7 days, 30% chance of development over the next 3. This is certainly one of these stronger storms, and I'll be honest with you, if we zoom back in, and what I'll do is kind of go in here and edit this for you, you can already kind of start to see a little bit of a center of circulation taking place here with Tropical Depression 3. So we're going to zoom in here for you. That way you can see what we're talking about. But if we zoom in, here's a live look at Tropical Depression 3, and notice right in the middle there, right in the middle of that storm, it actually looks like we're getting a little bit more of a center that is starting to work. So let's go ahead and show this down. There's Tropical Depression 3 spinning its way ever so slowly, and then right behind it is what would likely become Tropical Depression 4, if not Tropical Storm Cindy by the end of this week. So we take you back into here. That way you could see there's the first part of now what is Tropical Depression 3 with an update coming out here in the next 4 minutes. This is once again working to the west. It was about 21 miles per hour at 8 o'clock. I fully expect that speed to have been continuing. And then right off on the back side of it is that area that we're watching. And you can see this is already starting to show at least a little bit more strengthening. But look at the circulation that's taking place, especially right there in the center of that storm. This would not surprise me if maybe by 11 o'clock we get the update on the advisory. Give it an hour or two, and we may be looking at Tropical Storm Brett. I think it's going to be one of those days with some rapid intensification. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what we need to know for Brett. And Tropical Storm Brett is going to be very dependent on how it works. Here's some of the latest data that's been coming through. I want to reiterate, At this point, there's no threat to the Carolinas. There's no threat to Georgia. There's no threat to Florida at this point. Once there is, or if something were to change, we will be the first to let you know. But you'll notice at this point, spaghetti models kind of show two scenarios, if you will. A little bit less data has started to come in to suggest what was the popular one. The popular one was basically this route where the stronger storm would turn north out to the Atlantic. So say Brett gets really going here, and as that happens, typically what we see is as we get a stronger storm, these typically start to veer off back out to sea, especially with some of the steering mechanisms, an area of high pressure kind of centered in this region. But what's actually started to happen here with some of the latest data is we're actually starting to see some of the data suggest maybe Brett stay a weaker storm and try to make a run into the Caribbean, where water temperatures continue to be warm, and that is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. But I will tell you, there's a lot of wind shear in the Caribbean at this point. So with that wind shear, that's going to be something we'll have to watch closely here as we head into the forecast, because that is going to be something to watch, and of course would not be there until later this week. It looks like the advisory just came out for Tropical Depression 3. Let's see if we can pull this up for you. While we do so, I'm going to take you back to a view here of what it looks like out on the beach here. So you'll notice people still out enjoying partly cloudy skies. We're holding on to, once again, one of those days where it's a little bit calmer for now, but showers and storms are now starting to work into the area. All right, so the new forecast update is out. We're going to go ahead and take you back there live. And as we do so, here is a look at Tropical Depression 3, the latest forecast track coming in. Now calling for this to be Tropical Storm Brett by this afternoon, and then Hurricane Brett by Wednesday. So now the official forecast is calling for a Category 1 hurricane to work its way, like we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago, right into the Caribbean. That is an area that we typically and traditionally watch. As you'll notice, this would be a Category 1 entering the Caribbean sometime Friday morning. So Tropical Depression 3, it looks like this is the latest data that is coming in. The very first forecast track, if you will, now shows a hurricane, Category 1 hurricane, the first hurricane of the season, working and forming sometime Wednesday midday into Wednesday evening with winds of 75 to 80 miles per hour, and then working its way toward the Caribbean, toward Puerto Rico, and the mountainous terrain of Hispaniola that we would have to keep an eye out as we go into next week. Keep in mind that is until Saturday there at 8 a.m. with winds ranging from 75 to 80 miles per hour. So your first forecast track looks like this for Tropical Depression 3. It would not surprise me if we saw Tropical Storm Brett here within the next couple of hours, just based off some of the satellite data that we are now starting to see. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on this. We will have full updates coming your way here on the tropics on WMBF News at noon. But if you missed it, we now have Tropical Depression 3 and expect it to become our first hurricane of the year. Category 1 hurricane expected to form as we're taking a live look at Tropical Depression 3. Already starting to gain that spin in the Atlantic. More updates, of course, coming your way on the First Alert Weather app, our Facebook page, and also on WMBFnews.com.